Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The driver who knew too much. I still remember the first time I saw him. Rain poured down like a curtain that morning, the kind that makes the city blur into a wet watercolor painting. My husband had left early, something about an urgent meeting, and I couldn't find the car keys. I was already late for work, my hands trembling as I ordered a cab. That's when Adil pulled up. He stepped out, umbrella in hand, his smile quiet but genuine. "You'll get soaked, ma'am," he said, holding the umbrella over me as I slid into the back seat. He wasn't handsome in the traditional sense, but something about him, his calmness, his eyes that actually listened, felt like a balm. At first, he was just a driver. But over the next few weeks, as my husband's absences grew longer and his excuses thinner, Adil became the only person I could talk to. It began innocently enough. "How's your day?" he'd ask, glancing at me in the rearview mirror. "Same as always," I'd reply, forcing a smile. "Busy husband, empty house." He chuckled softly. Some men don't realize how much silence hurts. Something about that line stayed with me. Silence did hurt. It filled the walls of our home like fog, thick, suffocating, cold. Soon, the car rides became therapy sessions. I told Adil things I hadn't told anyone. How my husband, Ryan, had changed over the past year. How I felt invisible. How I missed the man who used to wait up for me with tea and laughter. Adil never interrupted. He just listened, sometimes nodding, sometimes murmuring a quiet, "I understand." But then he started remembering details. Too many. "Did your husband call you last night?" he'd ask casually. "You said he usually checks in when he's on those business trips, right?" The way he said business trips made me flinch. One evening, I found a lipstick mark on Ryan's collar. Not mine. I asked him about it while he packed for yet another conference in Lahore. He laughed it off. The receptionist at work hugged me when I announced the quarterly numbers. That's all. I wanted to believe him. I tried to. But something in his tone, too smooth, too quick, made my stomach twist. That night, Adil noticed my silence. "Rough day?" he asked. I didn't answer at first. Then, quietly, "Do men ever stop loving their wives without realizing it?" He looked at me in the mirror. "Sometimes they stop pretending they do." The bluntness hit me like a slap. My eyes filled, and before I knew it, I was crying. Adil didn't speak. He just handed me a clean handkerchief from the glove compartment. "Don't waste your tears on someone who doesn't see you," he said. And for the first time in months, I felt seen. Weeks blurred into months. Our daily drives became my only moments of honesty. I started noticing small things. How he'd adjust the seat warmer when the mornings were cold, or how he'd cue my favorite radio station without asking. One day, after a fight with Ryan about his late-night calls, I broke down completely. "He's cheating on me, Adil. I know it." Adil didn't respond immediately. His knuckles tightened on the steering wheel. "You're sure?" "No," I whispered, "but I can feel it." He parked by the sea. The sound of waves crashing filled the silence. Then he turned to me and said, "Maybe you deserve someone who listens. Someone who'd never make you guess if you're loved." The air felt heavy, dangerous. I met his gaze, and for a moment I couldn't breathe. He leaned forward, just slightly, and I felt the heat of his breath. But then he stopped. "I shouldn't," he said, pulling back. I didn't move. I wanted him to. God help me, I wanted him to. That night I couldn't sleep. My phone buzzed at 1 a.m. A message from Adil. "You shouldn't be crying alone." It was harmless. And yet it wasn't. I didn't reply. But I didn't delete it either. The next day I found lipstick again. Same shade. Same spot. My heart turned to ice. Ryan was distracted all morning, typing furiously on his phone. When I asked who he was messaging, he smiled. "Just work." Later that evening, when he went to shower, I checked his phone. My hands shook as I unlocked it. There were messages from Lena. "Miss you already. Can't wait for another meeting." I stared at the words, my chest caving in. When I told Adil, he didn't look surprised. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "You didn't deserve that." "How did you know?" I asked. He hesitated. Because I've seen him. I froze. What do you mean? He sighed. I didn't want to tell you this, but 2 weeks ago, I drove him. My breath hitched. He didn't know it was me. He booked a ride under another name. I picked him up from your house. He was with a woman, long brown hair, red scarf. He kissed her before they even got in. The world went silent. My pulse thundered in my ears. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. Adil reached out, his hand trembling slightly. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to hurt you, but you had to know. I pulled my hand away. You should have told me the moment it happened. He looked down. I know, but I was scared you'd hate me for being the messenger. The next day, I confronted Ryan. He denied everything at first, his voice calm, confident. But when I mentioned the red scarf, his face drained of color. I don't know what you're talking about, he stammered. Yes, you do, I whispered. Adil told me. He froze. Adil? I nodded. The driver. Ryan laughed then. A short, bitter sound. You mean the man who's been obsessed with you for months? My stomach flipped. What are you talking about? He's been following me, calling my office. Do you know he asked about you? Said he was worried you were being neglected. I told him to stay away. My blood ran cold. You're lying. He smirked. Am I? Check your messages. Check who's been watching you unravel. I ran to my phone. There it was, a new message from an unknown number. He doesn't deserve you. Soon you'll see who really loves you. I felt dizzy. My hands shook as the realization sank in. Adil hadn't just known too much, he'd orchestrated it. The lipstick, the ride he claimed to give Ryan, the details he shouldn't have known. My knees gave out. Ryan's voice sounded far away. He's been playing you, Zara. You handed him every piece of your life. Outside, I could hear a car idling. I looked out the window. It was Adil's cab, waiting. He looked up at my window and smiled. And for the first time, I realized the man who'd listened to all my secrets wasn't rescuing me. He was collecting me.